Hello everybody, welcome to Strumming with Christopher. I'm Christopher Gallegos with Monterey County Free Library's Gonzales branch, where the magic happens. So, first episode of this whole series, I talked to you about tuning your guitar. But I made an assumption, and the assumption was that you had a guitar with 6 healthy strings on it, ready to go. Like maintenance on your car, your bike, your body. You have to occasionally do some changing out of things, right? So you're going to have a point where you're going to have to change strings on your guitar. Now, I wanted to film the whole process, but I'm realizing it would take a little bit too long. So I'm going to give you the basic concept. As you can see, I've taken a couple strings off, and I'm down at the D string here. And so I'm going to show you what I can here, but really, you only need to know the process for one string to change all of them, right? So you want to, if you can find, get yourself a string winder, which is at a music store. Get yourself some strings. I found some pretty cheap, really cheap. And I'm not going to tell you what types of strings to get. It really depends on what kind of guitar you have. So it's good to go to a music store if you have the chance. And just tell the person working there you want some strings and what kind of guitar you have. And they'll usually be able to help you out, give you something suitable. But yeah, string winder is not necessary, but it makes it really quick. So I'll show you why. So the basic concept here is to get the strings off your guitar. You want to go up to the head here where the tuning pegs are. Now this classical guitar has different looking pegs than an acoustic or electric would. Those types of guitars usually have pegs sticking straight up. But the whole idea is there's a hole in there and it moves right and left to give you tension there. So this D string I've already kind of gotten loose at least. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out what peg corresponds to this D string. So in this case it is the 3rd peg up. Usually follows the orders of the string. The low E will usually be one of the first pegs facing you, right? So I'm at the D string already. And what I'm going to do, oh, it popped off. Popped off as I was talking. Very nice. Okay, well, let's try the G then. So then I would go down to string number 4, peg number 4 here. And what I do is I get the string winder and I start just cranking it in the direction that will loosen the string. So that's different. Depending, you can hear it. Oh, it's getting loose, 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 loose. And I'll just crank really, really fast, but smoothly. And just try to kind of be pulling on the string if I can here. And what I'm trying to do is getting the string off of this peg so I can replace it with a new one. And sometimes you'll have a string snap on you too, and that also is a reason to change out a single string. Sometimes you have to buy a whole set, which is unfortunate, but sometimes you'll find music stores that will have single strings. But again, different guitars have different strings. Again, talking about the different types would take a long time, and really just go to a store and get strings that will match the type of guitar you have. Brand is not really as important as, oh wow, this one is really in there, really. This one is really, really tight in there. I'm surprised. Yeah, whew, snapped the whole thing. So I had to give it a pull. So you see I got this, I don't know if you can see that. I pulled this string free. So this was the G string that I pulled out of here. And what I want to do is I want to go down to my bridge here at the bottom. Classical guitar will have this type of a bridge where you put the strings in vertically. But some of them, you put them in, there'll be holes here, and then there'll be little pegs you can kind of put in there to keep the string held in. That's fine too. So what I want to do is I want to go to this string down here, after I get it off the tuning peg, and pull it loose off of, ooh, this looks like a nature documentary, close up. I want to make sure I pull this string out however I need to from the bridge. Okay, and in the case of this monstrosity, they were all tied together for some reason, so I'm not going to tie these strings on. I'm going to use ball end strings. So I got the string off there, and then what I do, and I'll show you with the low E string, since I already have all those taken off, I took out the G string there, but what I'm trying to do is, let's make sure I have it right here, I took the little markers off. Low E string, and that's going to be the string up here, the top string that's kind of facing my face. And I gave the string a little bit of a bend just so I can get it in that that hole there. And I want to put it here, string number 6. Sometimes it'll be a little bit of a, oh there, nice and clean. Got it in the hole, like threading a needle, pull it up. Okay, and then, so to take it off the peg first, then the bridge, put it in the bridge first, bottom first. And then what I want to do is go up to the tuning peg that corresponds to the low E, which in this case is this 6th peg up here. And what I want to do is I want to get, at least with this kind of tuning peg, I want to get the hole to face me. If you have a tuning peg that sticks straight up, you'll put it in horizontally. Some people like to wrap the string a couple times and then put it in the hole. That's complicated. I don't always do that. Put the string in the hole in the tuning peg. Pull it until it's tight, a little bit tight. Make sure that the string is in the slot on the nut, this little plastic thing up here, sitting in that slot. And then you're going to get your string winder again. You're going to put it on the tuning peg, and you're going to start cranking. Now, if you can remember, try to crank all of these things in the same direction when you're putting them on, or else you're going to end up in a situation where you'll have to tune each peg, turn it a different direction to get it tight. So in this case, I'm going to be turning it to the left until it gets tight, right? I'm going to keep tuning it to the left. And as I'm turning this, start hitting the string a little bit with whatever finger I got free. Getting tight, getting tight. Oof. We want that E. That's an F. So I got that in there, and yeah. See if we can do another one real quick, so you can get the idea. So I have my A string now, and I want to go to the 5th hole here. Put that A string in there. Let's hope that it goes in okay. Yeah, nice, perfect. And I'm also noticing down here on the, I want to say this is called the saddle, kind of like a nut too. There won't necessarily be notches, but there might be a mark from where the string was last time. Make sure that kind of lines up, if that makes sense. Okay, pull the string through. Make sure it's nice and flush down here with a bridge. Okay. Go up to your tuning peg that corresponds to that string. In this case, it's the 5th tuning peg for the A string. Okay. Then I want to turn this so that the hole's facing me. Put the string in there. Okay. Give it a pull. Make sure it's a little tight. Okay. Get your string winder and start winding it. Now, remember, I was trying to wind these in the same direction. That way the pegs all work the same. So I was tuning it to the left, so I have it in the hole, and I start turning it to the left with my string winder. This will save you a lot of time using this thing. It's getting tight. Ugh. Nice. All right, so we have our E on there. You can put them all on too and then try to tune them afterwards. I'm just already kind of used to what it sounds like, but let's see. Power chord. Not too bad. Now what you're going to find as you're putting these strings on is you can tune them up and they're going to start falling out of tune a little bit just because they need some time to warm up. There's something you can do. I don't recommend it unless you're very, very careful, and it's called stretching the strings. So once you put all 6 strings on, you can kind of, if you feel like they're not holding the tuning very well after you've tuned them, the new strings, you can put your finger right here near the bridge underneath and lightly pull it up the whole length of the string. Not really, really hard, just lightly pull it up. Do that a couple times. And what that does is it kind of puts a little bit of slack in the string, gets it ready to stay in tune. So you're going to find for the first maybe day or so that you've changed your strings that they're not going to stay in tune because they need a little bit of warm-up time. Don't worry about it. You didn't do anything wrong. Just let them adapt. Just let them adapt there. Okay, so I just showed you 2 strings, showed you how to take one off. Very simple process. It's just a matter of taking your time, not rushing it. And keeping a couple things in mind. Like I said, turn your tuning pegs the same exact direction for each one when you're tightening them up. That way you don't have any kind of wonky stuff going on. Make sure that each string sits in the little slot here where the nut is. That's very important to keep them from buzzing and sounding kind of off. Make sure that down here that everything is nice and tight down here at the bridge. And, you know, maybe one day we can get into things like seeing if your neck is straight, looking up that way. But we're just doing basic string changing now. So what I've shown you will serve when you need to change one string or a whole set. Just remember, do it in sequence. You can do it from the high E up or low down. I like to start with the lowest one. Strings in a lot of cases will have a number or a label on them telling you which string is which when you take them out of the envelope. And that's helpful. That way you don't mix up and put the wrong strings on the wrong fret. So hopefully that all makes sense and kind of a nice little thing for us to learn as we go along in our journey, because maybe you've been practicing so hard that your strings have worn out. And sometimes you don't have to wait for a string to snap. You might have a really dull sounding guitar and maybe it's your strings. So now you have the idea how you change your guitar strings. All right. Anyway, everybody, stay safe, be productive, practice guitar, do all those good things. And I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.